horses are in the yard for the second at Kalgoorlie, sponsored by Quality Rubber Lining. It's a maiden over 1,400 metres, and this is our only scratching of the day. Number 160 slabs won't go around, so it leaves us with a field of 6 here in a pay 1-2 event. Last in work, including backing up off 3 days over the round when finishing 2.5 lengths off them in a no metro win last year, 2,200. So I think this is a nice stepping stone for him. Going to go his way. Number 1, Pray With You. He's currently now into $4 from a high quote of $4.80. Number 2, Prince Tikea, who's having his second start for John Doyle's yard. John brought 2 horses up to the Kalgoorlie today, earlier on in the program in race number 1, in fact. He had Land of Fire, who ran second. Brandon Louis rode him, and Brandon Louis rides this 4-year-old by Sir Prancelot. He was a recent $6,000 Inglis online purchase. He's having his second run in WA. His first run was on a soft 7 at Pinjarra, where he got a long way back, but I thought he made good inroads late. He was only beaten 4 lengths at the hands of Macon Profits. Second up, out to 1760, and was racing over 2,000 metres earlier on in the preparation. He's currently a $9 chance. Number 3, Red with Ted, has been up for a long time. This horse raced all the way through Esperance, has continued on to Albany, to Kalgoorlie and back, and has done a lot of racing for Helen Harding. Goes around a $20 chance here today. Matty Derrick should be able to give him a lovely ride from an inside draw, but he was beaten 6.5 lengths last start by the horse we're about to preview in Whiskey Mac. Whiskey Mac is horse number 4. He is also our favourite here at $2.90. He was having his first run for new trainer Justin Robbins 21 days ago when he was $41 into $18, and he won it running away from them. Really good bets at odds, and I just cannot emphasise enough what an incredible training performance that was from Justin Robbins. This horse was 2 months between runs, coming out of a Warrnambool maiden hurdle over 3,200 metres, where he was beaten 17 lengths. 2 months between runs, hurdles back to the flat, 3,200 back to a mile, and he was way too good for the Class 2 opponents. Same grade, extra 150 metres here, extra 2.5 kilos, but you have to be very respectful. If he could reproduce, he'd be very hard to hold out. He's $2.80 here today, Whiskey Mac. Number 5, Sendham, is off the 7-day backup here today. Hasn't won for 400 days. He's only won from 27, but this is one of the other horses that the punters are pinning their hopes on here on the Goldfields. $9 into $4.80. A very good go here. Tash Faithful takes over riding duties today for Peter Fernie. Was beaten 6.25 by Dreamtime Jean last week, so the same race as my on-top selection Pray With You, and was a length and a quarter behind that galloper, so does need to turn the tables. Number 6, She's a Machine, is a mare by Machino, trained by Paul Rowe locally, to be ridden by Geordie Turner. The run 2 starts back behind Captain Rogers, stands off the page. That was a really good effort, beaten half a length, and that galloper's gone on with it. He won last week and goes around on the 2nd or 3rd line of betting in the following race here this afternoon. Last time out though, beaten 4.5 by Whiskey Mac. That's the concern, as well as the wide draw. 550 out to 950, now 11. She's a Machine continues to drift savagely in betting. Number 6, that's number 6, She's a Machine. Number 7, Minor Detail, I thought was the likely leader here today. Drawn barrier number 1, has a good amount of early speed, and Lucy Fiore is a really good booking here for Josh Brown's yard. Beaten 4 lengths by Whiskey Mac last start, but did have to do a bit of work at various stages. Should be straight to the front here today, and if he runs out a strong 1760, I think he can be there for quite a way as a $9 chance in betting. Number 8, Fuel the Friars, only having her second run, I think it is, for Mac Hall's yard, formerly trained by Ben Pearce, prior to that by Beck Waldrot, and he's been to a few different homes. I think she may have even started with David Harrison back in the day. So she's been shopped around, this mare. She's won 2 from 42, and her last victory was over 500 days ago. Tends to get a long way back, but I didn't think her effort at York was all that bad in a race dominated on speed. She was beaten 2 lengths. She goes around a big price here at $19, and Mac Hall's doing a good job with a small team. The final horse is number 9 in Let the Dust Fly, who last week was beaten 8 lengths by Debonair. Does step up noticeably in distance, 1200 to 1760 off a 7-day spin, but is yet to fill a placing after 9 runs at Kalgoorlie, $26, and the outsider of the field, Let the Dust Fly. 2 minutes away from the CD Dodd Scrap Metal Recyclers Handicap over 1760. These distance races can be a bit tricky at Kalgoorlie, but I'm definitely pleased to see that in the previous Symphony and Red was able to make good, noticeable ground over the top of them late, and that's where Pray With You is likely to be. Second half of the field, winding up towards the outside. I liked his run last week behind a nice horse in Dreamtime Gene. I like the step up to the 1760. He's a $4.40 chance. He's the way I go. Number 1, Pray With You. From 4, Whiskey Mac, plainly and simply, if this 5-year-old son of Savabeel reproduces his first up run in WA, he'll be awfully hard to hold out. He was super impressive. 41 into 18, so some punters out there knew that he was about to turn up, and turn up he did. Landed some very good bets that day. 6, She's a Machine, went around favourite in that Whiskey Mac race off the back of a really good effort behind Captain Rogers, looking for her to rebound. And 7, Minor Detail, who should be able to find the front here for Lucy Fiore, control the tempo and rate it to suit herself, Lucy, out in front. 1, 4, 6 and 7 at my end. I'm going to go with Pray With You, and so is Royce Newton, who's calling the action today. Royce's numbers are 1, 6, 4 and 2. Mine 1, 4, 6 and 7. 90 seconds to get your bets on in the second last at Kalgoorlie. Pray With You, $4.80 into $4, but now back to $4.60. 12 into $9.50 for Prince Tikea at his second start in WA. 18 to 21 for Red With Ted. $3.30 into $3. Whiskey Mac goes our favourite. Number 5, Send 'em. $9 into $4.60. Good go there for Peter Fernie's galloper. $5.50 out to 11. Back to $9.50 late. She's a Machine. 8 out to $9.50 for number 7, Minor Detail. Friendless Fuel the Fryer, $8.50 out to $21, and Let the Dust Fly is 21 out to 31. Horses are loading in over at the 1760. We are 35 seconds away from start time, so I'll send you the way of Royce Newton for the call of race number 6 at Kalgoorlie.
Thanks, Scott. Yes, runners starting to make their way forward over at the 1760 start. So Red With Ted locked away. Likewise, She's a Machine. Let the Dust Fly coming forward now. Prince Tikea in line as well. Fuel the Fryer about to come forward. Keshore Duran in the saddle. Whiskey Mac into 290 now. It's been well supported in the lead up to this race as Pray With You, the toppy, is about to come forward. So Pray With You goes forward. Red lights on. Ready at the 1760 for the CD Dodd. Stand by. Attendant just jumps down. Line looks to stand well. So there might be one, it's Whiskey Mac, apologies, still to come forward. Bit of a hidden start point here at the KBRC. So Whiskey Mac to come forward for Lisa Staples, who of course was aboard this galloper for its last start win. So the favourite comes forward now, Whiskey Mac. 1760 ahead of them, and they're off racing. Good even dispatch to Minor Detail, holding his position the fence. She's a Machine pushing forward together with Let the Dust Fly. Send 'em up there prominent as well. Then we had Prince Tikea being followed by Red With Ted. Now in the second half of the field, it's Fuel the Fryer together with Pray With You and Whiskey Mac. This 290 favourite's going to settle down at the tail, 8 lengths off the speed. So it's Let the Dust Fly who shows the way now by a length and a half, putting some pace into the race in the early stages. Second, She's a Machine. Third, Minor Detail. Fourth is Send 'em. They're strung out in the back straight. They were followed next of all by Prince Tikea. And then we had Red With Ted, followed by Fuel the Fryer. Whiskey Mac second last, and the top weight Pray With You last of all. 1,000 metres to run, still in the back straight, and it's Let the Dust Fly who shows the way a neat length. She's a Machine running second, being followed by Minor Detail, getting a nice run in the clear third. A similar margin then to Send 'em, who's covering up Red With Ted, Prince Tikea, then Whiskey Mac, followed next of all by Fuel the Fryer, and still last it's Pray With You. So onto the Charles Street side of the course, and it's Let the Dust Fly for Christy Bennett, who's controlled the race from the get-go. Shows the way just over a length. She's a Machine, sitting handy today. Minor Detail on on the improve the fence. They were followed by Send 'Em, and then we had around the outside Prince Tikea starts its run. Red with Ted having its ears scrubbed off, followed by Fuel the Friar. Whiskey Mac, he's got 6 lengths to make up, and then Pray With You was last of all coming to the outside, but it's Let the Dust Fly, off and gone at the top of the straight. 3 lengths are good to Minor Detail. They were followed by She's a Machine. Prince Tikea starting to put in the big bounds. It's Let the Dust Fly. Prince Tikea looks the danger down the outside. Prince Tikea grabs the lead from Let the Dust Fly, then Minor Detail Send 'Em, but it's Prince Tikea. Prince Tikea goes on and wins a length and a half. Second across the line, Let the Dust Fly, good run. Minor Detail third. They were followed in by Send 'Em. Whiskey Mac didn't show much, followed by Red with Ted, Fuel the Friar, Pray With You, well back throughout, and She's a Machine capitulated in the run home. Number 2, Prince Tikea for John Doyle and Brandon Louis. Second start in Western Australia. Comes to Kalgoorlie after finishing 7th at Pinjarra in a big field, hit the line strong down at Pinjarra, and 4 lengths behind Making Profits last start, but it was a bit of an eye catcher, a good sectional, and then put into the race from the 600 today by Louis, and that was a textbook ride for a middle distance race. The pace set by Let the Dust Fly, who at odds, big odds, has held on for second, and 7 getting third. That's Minor Detail. 5 will get fourth. Send 'Em. So numbers are 2, 9, 7, 5, 149, 64. The gallop 149.64, and the margins coming to hand now, a length and 3/4 by a half head. 2,975. Prince Tikea, too good for them in race number 6, the CD Dodd Scrap Metal Recyclers Handicap. So Prince Tikea, John Doyle, Brandon Louis combining by Sir Prancelot from Bless Me Katie, owned by John Doyle, B Doyle and also G Doyle. Second in was the 9. That was Let the Dust Fly for Paul Tapper and Christy Bennett by God Has Spoken from Lust for Dust, owned by Paul Tapper, Nicky Jordan and B Tapper. Third in the 7. Minor Detail, Josh Brown, Lucy Fiore by Free Eagle from Top Cat, owned by Josh Brown and G Hunt. And fourth in was the 5. That's Send 'Em for Pete Fernie and Tash Faithful. 2,975, 1 to come, race 7. It's the Signpost Goldfields Racing Museum Handicap, 1,612 metres, and geez, it's a good competitive race too. $3.10 the field. Ryewood, your current favourite. Captain Rogers, $4.20. Callaroo, $4.80. $5 So Likeable. A handful of chances in the last, but in the meantime, 2,975 after the running of race number 6.